Okay, fine, I will burn my crystals. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know how I feel about the burn test for seeing if your crystals are fake or not. Personally, I think it's silly, unnecessary, and kind of just gets a lot of views on TikTok. I feel like people just see burning crystals as sounding really fun and sensationalized. People are not really understanding how to actually do it and what the results actually mean when you light your crystals on fire. So you probably know I never recommend the burn test. I think it's silly. You don't need to do it to tell if your crystals are fake or not. But today I am going to show you, if you do the burn test, what do these results actually mean? What are you actually looking for when you're burning crystals? I never thought I would be making a video like this. I actually never planned on ever burning crystals because I think it's dumb. But I saw some things on TikTok recently that I just had to react to and had to talk about. So here's the timeline. I was on TikTok the other day researching some fake crystals on the market. Surprisingly, even though I do make crystal related TikToks, I don't actually spend a lot of time on crystal talk, looking at what other people are doing and saying. Kind of just tend to mind my own business over here on YouTube. But I came across this TikTok that I just absolutely had to react to. Now, I don't think this is the original TikTok, and I don't think I could find the original TikTok because a bunch of people were recreating it to like make fun of it. So I'm just going to show you the one that I came across. I don't know what the original is. I don't think this is the original, but this is the one I found that is stitched by a creator that I actually really like. They make really informative content. She's being a problem today. So let's just watch the video.
Whoa, I'm gonna cry. I just found out my crystals are all plastic.
Huh? Damn it. Who told you this, madam? C'est impossible. C'est incroyable. That's literally just carbon buildup from the incomplete combustion. You can wipe it off. Look, this is my big baby. It's totally natural, but it can be also dirty after burning. So do not trust this method. Different crystals have different test ways.
So the premise of the video that was stitched, whether this is the original one or not, I don't think it is someone burning their crystals and thinking they are all fake, they're all plastic because there were burn marks on them. A lot of people have recreated this TikTok as a joke with like very obviously real looking crystals being like, oh, I'm so sad, I just found out all my crystals are plastic, just because they didn't know how to use the burn test. Now I know this is a joke that a lot of people were like mocking, but people really believe that their crystals are fake because they burned them and they got black marks on them. Just because of some silly popular test they saw online that's making people even more confused if their crystals are real or not. If you are the person who originally made this video and thought your crystals are plastic, or if you've been in a similar situation, don't feel bad, don't feel stupid, even though people are laughing at it. It's easy to laugh at the situation when you're someone who's very knowledgeable in crystals and knows when crystals are real or fake just by looking at them. It's easy to look at someone not knowing what they're doing and think it's so silly, but a lot of people are confused because of this misinformation, and you can't really blame the people who are trying these burn tests and silly tests and not understanding what the results mean. I even see, unfortunately, some people on TikTok who pose as experts trying to teach people how to tell if their crystals are fake, and they're giving silly advice like, if it's cold, it's real, if it's warm, it's fake. And no wonder people are going to be confused if you're new to crystals, because people who seem like they know what they're doing are just giving unhelpful information. So while I never thought I would be on here burning crystals, I want to show you guys what a crystal actually looks like when it is burned, if it's a real crystal versus what it's a fake crystal, so you know what you're actually looking at. And I'll be honest, my curiosity has gotten the best of me. I've been seeing it on TikTok, people burning crystals. I want to know what happens. So in my last video that I posted right before this one, you will see me going to multiple different stores and looking at their crystal products to tell you if they are real or fake. And if you watch that, you know I bought some things, which are the things that I'm going to be testing today. So if you want to check out that first video, I will have it linked above. I'm going to show you again what I bought yesterday and how I'm going to test it to see if these things are real or fake. Okay, so what I bought yesterday, I got this little bracelet from Five Below that I suspect is just totally plastic. It says semi-precious stones on here, but we know it's not a real stone. It's probably just plastic, so we're gonna burn this to see what happens. I also bought this little incense holder from Five Below. It is a genuine stone. I know that just by looking at it. I wasn't sure if it is calcite or selenite, so I was going to test that. I do know what it is now, but I'm going to show you how I figured that out. I also got this little stone set from Five Below, as we talked about in yesterday's video, that they are all real stones in this set. Oh, I didn't even realize it came with a little bag. Actually, that's kind of cute. So all the little stones in the Five Below intention set are real. Okay, actually, ooh, Okay, I do think the little intention set is cute. They are all real. Okay, for $5, I'll be honest, it's cute. It's cute. I got these gua shas from TJ Maxx. I'm gonna keep one and then I'm gonna test one to see if it's real rose quartz. Even though I can tell just by looking at it that it's real rose quartz. We're gonna do the tests, okay? We're gonna get scientific. And they're cold. For people who like the cold test, they are freezing cold. So hope that helps. Also, I went to Michael's and I bought fake malachite. I spent my hard-earned money on fake malachite, which is my nemesis. So be sure to like the video and subscribe for thoughts and prayers. And I bought these other beads from Michael's, which I believe are real stones, but I suspect they have been dyed. So we're going to be doing an acetone test on these to see if the dye comes out. They are not disclosed as dyed. This is allegedly rose quartz and this is allegedly morganite, but the rose quartz looks dyed. I can see the dye accumulating, so I suspect we will get some results from this. We're gonna do a scratch test on this as well. I'm not sure how that's gonna go with like such a tiny bead, but I wanna see if this is morganite or if it's quartz. So that's all I got from the stores yesterday that we're gonna test, but since we're getting the flame out, I might as well. I got this once, like a year ago. This beautiful necklace, yeah, very stylish, but I got it, I won it in like a giveaway at some event I went to, and it's supposed to be a clear quartz. It's noticeably plastic. Like, you don't even have to touch it to know that it's plastic. We're gonna burn this so you can see what a real plastic crystal looks like. And I'm going to try the burn test on these two. This is glass posing as a crystal, and this is a fake citrine, which I believe to be a genuine quartz, but we'll see. So we're getting scientific here. We have a lot to do. I just do want to put out a little disclaimer first, okay? I mentioned we're doing an acetone test and a burn test. Now, acetone, nail polish remover, 100% acetone. Acetone is very, very flammable, okay? So we're gonna do this after we put the fire away, just in case you wanna try this at home. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend setting things on fire, okay? If you try this, just know I told you not to. Acetone, we're gonna keep it away from the fire. We're gonna do the fire first and then we're gonna do the acetone. Just putting that out there for safety. There's a lot going on here. I forgot to mention I did get this from Five Below also. In my last video, I called it a piece of junk. I'm sorry because it's a little massager key ring and I was massaging my hand with it, and I'll be honest, it did feel pretty nice. So I apologize for calling this a piece of junk. But I mean, it is what it is. So I thought this clear quartz looked a little suspicious, so we are going to scratch test it and burn it. I don't think that it's plastic. Could be real, we'll see. We're gonna do all the tests on it. And I have a couple of real crystals from my own personal collection, 100%. We know they are genuine. And we're gonna burn them to see what that looks like. So we got a lot to do here. Let's just get right into it. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little nervous. Okay, well, here we go. I should have gotten a bigger lighter, like the long stem ones. I meant to, but I didn't. Okay, it happened. It happened. Okay, so if it's a real crystal, it is normal for it to get this black mark, and it rubs right off. Look at that. Look at that. Totally unharmed. It's a real stone. It got that black mark on it because you put it in fire. That's normal for things when you set them on fire, but it rubs right off. There's no damage to the stone. I did see someone on TikTok say that after you put it in the fire, if it's hot, then it means it's plastic and fake, and if it's not that hot, then it's real. Don't touch the thing after you put the fire on it, okay? It is warm, okay? Just let's use some basic fire safety thinking here and just not touch something that we put right in the fire, okay? I just want to put that out there. I know we're all smart here, but people are saying some things, and I just want to make sure we're being safe if we're doing these tests. So let's test another real one before we get into the possible fakes. So we're gonna test this amethyst. It's noticeably a real amethyst. We know she's real. What happens? It does smell like fire. Like, it doesn't smell good when I do this. I hope I don't set off the smoke alarm. It's not really smoking, but I've been known to do that. It is hot, but yeah, it rubs right off. The stone is not damaged. The thing that the burn test shows you is if the stone is plastic or not, because plastic will melt. That's what the burn test is supposed to show you. And I don't recommend this test because most fake crystals are not made of plastic. There's a lot of ones that are glass, things that are just mislabeled, things that are lab grown, but most of the time it's not plastic. So that's why I don't think this is helpful, because it only shows you if something's plastic or not. I'm nervous now to set the plastic one on fire because it smelled really bad when I put the real ones on fire, and this could like melt. So this is 100% plastic. I'm lighting plastic on fire right now. Like, do you see how this like maybe doesn't sound like the best idea? I'm really actually nervous. Ooh, it is bubbling up. It is bubbling. I only put it in the fire for a little bit as compared to the other ones, because I don't want to straight up like start a fire. It's bubbling and it's making like sounds. So that's what happens if your crystal is plastic. It melts and it bubbles. Yeah, there's that plasticky smell. Okay, I think we've gotten the point here. It's plastic, it bubbled, it smells like plastic. Look at, can you see the bubbles? So let's move on to some of these malachite beads. I'm not sure how to test these because they're so small. So we got the fake malachite bead. We know she's fake. Let's see if it bubbles up like the plastic does. Okay, it immediately turned black. Ooh, it started sizzling. It's getting smoky. It's getting a little smoky in here. You can see it's starting to melt a little bit. Ooh, it's really hot. Okay, like I said, the person on TikTok said, if it's really, really hot when you burn it, then that means it's plastic and it's fake. And if it's not that hot, that means it's real. Just don't touch it at all, because that was really hot. I didn't mean to actually like touch it. That probably checks out because it's really, really hot. Don't touch it after you just put it in the fire. Yeah, so the black stuff wasn't really wearing off. This is silly. It's like crackling. It's not bubbling up quite like the plastic did. It smells like a campfire. Like, it doesn't smell just like heat, it smells like something burning. It's much smokier than the real crystals were because it's actually like catching. Yeah, chemically smell. Probably really bad for me to be burning and inhaling this. Yeah, it's just straight up black now. Like this, it's not rubbing off, it's burnt. She's burnt. Now it's a little stinky in here. Don't recommend that. Let's move on to this bracelet. I feel bad burning the little bracelet because she's cute. Like, it's a cute bracelet. There's nothing wrong with buying a bracelet like this. I don't mean to be a hater on the bracelet, but if you're looking for a genuine stone, then you should be aware if your stones are genuine. It shouldn't be sold as a semi-precious stone if it's plastic, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't care if it's a genuine stone or not, then wear it. So first I want to test this little bead right here. Same smell as the malachite, it smells bad. Ooh, that one definitely caught. You can, real crystals don't catch on fire like that. It's smoky. Let's move on to one of these. These are, they have to be plastic. Oh, she's hot. Okay, I'm gonna break the bracelet. Sorry, bracelet, I wasn't gonna wear it anyway. Okay, the amount of times I've like hurt myself on these hot beads is like, that should tell you all you need to know. You don't need to be doing this at home. I'll do it for you. I feel like this one's gonna bubble up. Oh, she's sizzling. That one is sizzling. Plastic smell, sizzling. Yep. Just as I suspected. Oh my God. Can you see how much that's plastic? Oh my God. Oh my God, can you see? It's like squishy now. It's not even a bead anymore. It melted. It totally turned to goop. Honestly, worse than I expected. Yeah, that's plastic. The other little bead did not melt like that. It kind of did the thing where the like the fake malachite did. So maybe it's made of resin. I don't know. I don't know what they make this junk out of. Let's revisit this malachite. So this is the malachite bead now. See if this rubs off. Nope, nope, none of it rubbed off. It just totally turned black and burnt. Remember with the real crystals, the black stuff did rub off because it didn't destroy the surface of the crystal. Okay, so now we know what it looks like when crystals are plastic. They just melt. So let's return to like a real crystal to see what that looks like in the fire. I did see a video on TikTok of someone burning a labradorite to see if it was real or not. You can tell it's real just by looking at it. The back of the stone isn't even affected by the fire, really. See, it doesn't like have the smoke like the other stuff did because it's not actually catching on fire. Stone is unharmed. Totally unharmed. It rubbed right off. So now let me show you why the burn test doesn't really help, because this is a fake citrine. This is not a genuine citrine. It looks like probably a genuine quartz, maybe a reconstituted quartz that's been heated to look like citrine. She's not a natural stone. We know that. Let's see what happens. See, no smoke, just like all the other real crystals. And the stuff rubbed off the surface. So that would lead you to believe that this is a real stone. But we know this is an imitation citrine. So what I'm getting at here is that the burn test doesn't tell you if crystals are heat treated, man-made, dyed, lab-grown, mislabeled, which is the majority of the fake crystals out there. The burn test is only going to tell you if your crystals are like plastic or resin, which is not a majority of the fake crystals out there. Which is why I don't advocate to do this test, because I feel like it doesn't help you very much. Like, okay, your crystals aren't plastic, great, but that wasn't really the biggest concern anyway. So here's one that has been debunked as straight up glass. Let's see what the glass does. I really just don't like the smell these things are making when I burn them. Okay, see? It rubbed right off the glass. This would technically pass, and people might think that this is a real crystal because it didn't burn and melt, but it's glass. It's not a real crystal. It's in no way a real crystal. So that's what I mean when I say the burn test, it like doesn't even help you. Okay, I think we've burned a sufficient amount of things so you can see what you're looking for when burning things. If it just totally turns black, smells like plastic, bubbles up, completely squishes, then you know it's plastic. Oh, actually, I did say I was going to burn one of the Five Below crystals, so we'll do that real quick. These are totally real. I know they're real. I can tell just by looking at them. It does smell like burning plastic in here. It does. See, there's no smoke like the fake crystals had. It kind of changed the color of the howlite a little bit. Let's investigate a little further, shall we? But it didn't bubble. It didn't melt. It's noticeably a real rock. This actually changed the color of the howlite, I'm going to be honest. Ooh! It's too hot. I can't pick it up. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, now that we're done with the fire, it's time to move on to part 2, where I'm going to do the scratch test and the acetone test to see if some of these crystals are dyed or to identify them. So I mentioned this piece that I got from Five Below yesterday, the incense burner. My first thought was that it was selenite because the top looks like natural selenite. Like it has that same look to it. But then I got a little stumped because it seemed very solid and not very flaky on the edges. And some of the incense burners they had were definitely calcite, so I was like, is maybe this calcite? But the biggest difference between, let me just cut this. The biggest difference between calcite and selenite is a 2 on the hardness and calcite is a 3. So selenite is soft enough to scratch with your fingernail, and I could tell right away that it scratches with my fingernail, so debunked, this is selenite. So that's an easy way to do a scratch test. Selenite is so easy to scratch. If you want to learn more about the scratch test, I do have a whole video about it, which I will also link above. It just annoys me when I go on TikTok and see someone saying, if your crystal scratches with a knife, that's because it's fake. And well, selenite is real and scratches with my fingernail. So that's just, it's not true. Next up, we have these beads, which I suspect to be genuine rose quartz. I just think it's dyed. I wish I could have gotten some bigger pieces to do tests on. Woo! Because like burning and scratching these tiny little beads is kind of difficult. I'm gonna pick a couple pieces that noticeably have dye on them. I have this little bowl here and I'm going to put the nail polish remover on them and let them soak for a few minutes to see if the dye comes off, because sometimes it doesn't quite come off just by rubbing it. Sometimes you gotta let it sit for a minute. So I'm gonna take some of these suspicious morganites as well and put them in there. The color is so like subtle too that even if they're dyed, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to see much dye, but we're gonna give it a go. So again, remember, acetone is very flammable, so make sure you're done with fire before you do this. Just please be safe if you are doing any sort of tests with fire or chemicals. As I say that, I pour acetone all over my hands. Amazing. I wanted to test these morganite beads. Oh, it's gonna be really hard to test a bead. I should have gotten the bigger beads, but my point here is that morganite has a slightly higher hardness than quartz. Quartz is a 7, morganite is a 7.5 to 8. And some of these beads that looked like morganite were labeled as dyed quartz at Michael's. So I want to do the scratch test to see, is it harder than quartz, like morganite should be, or is it the same as quartz, so it's not even morganite at all? It's kind of hard to test on a bead. Oh. Okay, so it's been about an hour since I last saw you. I will say the smell of burning plastic does linger in the air. So for the acetone beads, the rose quartz and the morganite, I let them soak in acetone on the paper towel for a while and no dye came off actually. What I suspect is that it's because they're just so well polished, and if I broke them open, the dye might be able to come out better, because I do feel pretty confident that the rose quartz is dyed. I can see the dye accumulating in the cracks and crevices, and natural rose quartz never has just like bright pink spots within it. That's not a normal thing. I can't tell that the rose quartz is dyed, but it does appear to be genuine quartz. You know what? Do you want to light it on fire just to be sure? Just to be sure. I will say though that the morganite, I feel like I haven't gotten any conclusive answers on this because the scratch test didn't work because the beads were too small and the acetone test didn't work. So it could be real morganite. Maybe it is. If you know anything about these beads from Michaels, let me know. I will say though, I did try to break open the beads. I have a rock hammer over there and I was trying to smash them to like break them apart so I could put them in the acetone. They were just really compact and sturdy. They didn't break. And I don't really want to be just like hitting the ground with a hammer repeatedly when I live in an apartment. So I had to give up on that venture for now. I also just realized that I did forget to test this little piece of quartz. So do you want to do that? Let's do a scratch test on it first to see if it is quartz or if it's glass. It actually appears to be real quartz. It didn't seem to scratch. Like it sounds like it's scratching, but it's really not. Let's just do a quick little burn just to see. It's not giving off any smoke like the fakes were. It's not bubbling, it's not melting. And all the black marks rub right off. So the quartz, actually this little thing holds up. I am surprised to see that. I did think it was gonna be glass or something, but it didn't scratch, it didn't melt, it didn't burn. So looks like we got some real quartz here. And while we're at it, let's just test out this rose quartz bead. I am fairly confident that this is genuine. I would be very surprised if this melted. No sizzling, nothing. It is smoking a little bit more than I would have expected. Okay, interesting. It's so hot. This is why I don't recommend you guys do this. I do feel like the color changed. I feel like it got more dull and less pink. But it definitely didn't melt or bubble or anything like that. Most of the black stuff rubbed off, but I just feel like it looks more dull. It is starting to crackle. What's going on? Woo! Oh my God. Okay, this is a prime example of why I don't recommend you do this. Something hot just flew off of this bead. Like a piece of the crystal broke off and went flying. So I think that's a prime example of like, you do not need to be doing this. Learn from my mistakes. That could have like hit you in the eye. So if you look at the broken off spot, you could tell it looks like natural quartz in there. The black stuff is rubbing off. Oh my God, it's still really, really hot. Okay, so it's like the color is gone. Pieces went flying off. My suspicions remain that this is a real quartz just dyed. I think after that, that is my sign to be done burning things. Hopefully that will show you not to try this at home. It's not necessary. If you're unsure if your crystal's real or not, just don't buy it. If you think it's plastic, don't buy it. You don't need to burn your crystals. There are other safer tests to do. So while it looks fun and crazy to do on TikTok, it can be dangerous. You can burn yourself. Remember, don't mix fire and acetone. It's flammable. And at the end of the day, you don't really need to do this test. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this entertaining, and I hope that you can live vicariously through me and see what happens when you burn fake crystals, what happens when you burn real crystals. I would like to know what you guys think about the morganite beads, if anyone knows any more about that, specifically the Michaels morganite beads. Do you know if there's a better way I can test them because the acetone and the scratch test didn't really work? Do you know if they're genuine? Let me know. I would also like to know you guys' opinion about this howlite. I bought a lot of fake crystals for this video, so I would really appreciate it if you could help me out by liking and subscribing. And check out my crystal shop, cosmicgeology.com. You can use code YouTube for a discount on any order at any time. None of my crystals are plastic, and you don't need to burn them to know that. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.